Guys, congratulations on the film. Lowriders, it's awesome. It brings LA culture to the forefront, but it transcends. It's not just an LA film, it's a world film. When did you guys get introduced into the lowrider culture?
For me, it was working on this film, for sure. I mean, I grew up in South Central LA. As a kid, you know, we used to play outside, and we'd see the lowriders come, you know, pass by, go to Crenshaw, and it was always they were always a showstopper. You know what I mean? Like whatever we were doing, we would just stop and just watch the cars pass by, and they'd be bouncing. So I kind of grew up around it, but I didn't really know too much until working on the film and learning how, you know, how deep and how important and how the cars are passed on from generation to generation and within the family. So
yeah, I've always been a car guy, and then you know, I was doing a TV show that I started in like late '08 called Sons of Anarchy, and the motorcycles kind of mirrored the car culture. So then motorcycle clubs kind of mirrored car clubs, and we kind of ran parallel to each other. So we had Lowe's on the show, we had Lolo's on the show, and then living in the east side of LA, I kind of would see it, same as Gabe. You know, we'd see them cruising Whittier, you know, you'd see them all around. But what I learned on this was like how deep they went. There was such like, there's so much more. It's not just a car. It really is like almost like an installation art piece on wheels, you know, and I appreciated it so much more, kind of in similar of how I felt about the motorcycle culture. I knew a little and then I learned so much more. I think that's what this film does. It opens up a whole nother door that people will have no idea about.
You know, car films are popular. This one's truly about family, in my opinion. What was it about the script that when you first read it hit you the most? That you had to maybe...
I mean, that's the script definitely for me caught my attention 100%. Like, you know, the story, just the journey that, you know, the journey that Danny goes through, you know, it's a coming of age for him, you know what I mean? But more importantly, the relationships within the family, with his brother, with his father, with his friends, you know, and still him trying to figure out and find his passion with his art, you know. So, and it's a thing that a lot of people can relate to, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and it was just so well written, you know, the moments between the characters, and, you know, it was so intriguing to me. So I kept, you know, I fought hard for the role, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely wanted to be a part of the project. You know, didn't matter what it was, I just wanted to be a part of it. So.
Yeah, for me it was the pedigree of the film from the beginning. You know, when you first hear Brian Grazer's name and imagine, you know, the giants that they are, and then you got Mr. Cartoon and Esteban and the people who were the backbone of the film and where it really derived from and where it came from. And then at the end of the day, when I chase characters, I chase relationships, I chase story, you know. So I was incredibly intrigued, which I've always been intrigued by, is family dynamics, especially relationships between father and sons, you know, and how that works out and how that's portrayed on screen, and, you know, how it relates to my own life. So this was a cathartic film to me that I needed to do from my own relationships. So I was really just chasing the character and chasing the relationships.
Now, the relationship between you guys is very well done. The chemistry you guys display on screen is exceptional.
I don't like him.
That's all acting.
Well, that's great
acting. That was method acting. Yeah.
Did you guys know each other before filming this, or how did you guys get?
No, it was funny because we first met during the process of this film at the Ace Hotel in downtown LA, and we just hit it off.
We spent the whole couple of days together,
yeah,
and it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was also one of those things where, and a lot of people don't know this, is I had gotten involved with the project, but they really they had to place Danny to place Francisco, because, you know, as much as you're doing a film, you need the characters to kind of look like each other and kind of like have, you know, one plays off the other and it's a vibe of whatever. So I was back in New York working, and I kept hearing that there were two kids up for the role, a Danny, and if it went to this one kid, they're gonna lock you in. If it went to the other kid, well, we got to see what happens. So I was like a huge champion and fan of his before he even knew, or I didn't even know his name. I was just going, man, whoever this kid is, whoever kid number one is, better get this role. And so when I found out it was him, and now we were doing this and I got to LA, I think there was just this underlying appreciation that we were both going to be able to go on this journey and do this project and get involved in this, because, you know, this is, at the end of the day, I know people throw the term around a lot. It's an independent film. We knocked this thing out in a couple of weeks. Yeah. We developed relationships, and we shot this thing real quick on a shoestring budget. And now here we are as a summer film, and that's really a testament to kind of what this film conveys, how it was done, right. And more importantly, to the relationships.
Crenshaw Sunday's going down right here in the beautiful California IEA. It's your boy Gordo. It is what it is. This is what we do.
I was 6 years old riding shotgun in the old school with my dad.
I grew up in Boyle Heights. I remember when I was a kid, Pops always said, one day we'd all build a car together. Lowriders are about family.
What's up, Daddy?
Me and my homies, we've never been to Mexico. And no, our Spanish ain't perfect. But you can find us partying with the hipsters in Echo Park, chilling at the skate park in Venice, or doing karaoke in K-Town. But for kids like me, sometimes we do end up the night at Taco Zone. Yeah, we eat tacos. Why not, right? If it was up to my pops, I'd be fixing cars at his shop all day.
I got a new wood in my...
This whole city is my canvas. I put up my art for free, and he wastes his money on car parts? That makes no sense to me.
Stop the car. Stop the car.
What? What's wrong? What are you doing? We got caught. That's my scholarship, Danny.
Nobody's gonna get caught. No, you need to hurry up, man. Go! Come on, stop it!
Put your hands up!
You have any idea what this costs your family? Writing your name on other people's property? You have an ounce of shame. Not a criminal like your brother.
Do you know what people call me now? Ghost. Because for the last 8 years, you haven't so much as mentioned my name to remind people that I exist. You're a joke, and nothing changes.
Talk to your sons.
I can't talk to my sons. They just don't want anything to do with me.
When it's your kids, you don't stop trying.
They ain't got no muscle, no hustle, no backbone. I stand alone, not
It's because you're old school. What he's up against.
ain't hanging on to the coattails of the next man. Passport in my left hand.
Famous graffiti artists don't have to be poor to be real.
That is your heritage, something you know nothing about.
I guarantee you, I'm gonna make it with my art.